Hello and welcome to our class. Today our lesson will be over differentiation instruction. Differentiation instruction. Much to think about over this type of method. I wonder, do you think it is more a traditional setting type method where the teacher just stands in front of everybody and lectures the same lesson? Is it more like a Montessori way where it's just one with the object, where you're just focused on just the object, not your surrounding? What could differential instruction be? What is it like? Why is it becoming more of a popular, not really popular, but a big thing with education these days? I mean, when we see this picture over here, it talks about like content, environment, process, and product. What does that mean? Well, I want to tell you guys a quote by a lady named Carol Ann Tomlinson. In her quote, she had said, now this is about differential instruction. She had said, a teacher is in a differentiated classroom does not classify herself as someone who already differentiates instruction. Rather, that teacher is fully aware that every hour of teaching every day in the classroom can reveal one way to make the classroom a better match for its learners. I mean, sounds like it really in depth. I mean, it sounds like it's a big, important aspect that we need to know. I mean, would something like this really help improve our students' learning? Well, let's start heading over towards what differentiated instruction really is. Differentiated instruction is an approach where teachers observe, we watch, we pay attention, we put into consideration of what, and as we learn more about our students, they begin to trust us. They begin to really take us more serious once they see that we're paying attention, we are wanting to know more about them. So the more that we promote their style of learning with the content that we provide them, they start grasping information better, as well as starting to gain more respect even for their teachers, because we are stepping out of our own zones and wanting to get to know our own students. We want to provide what's best for them. So instead of using the one-size-fits-all approach, we doing the differential instruction. We need to have a more variety of methods to teach and to approach topics. And some students learn better through one-on-one, some learn better through groups. This is what part of differential instruction is about, is to know more about our students and know what they best learn. What they learn best. And so we need to look into 4 areas where we can incorporate differential instruction. The first area is called content, figuring out what a student needs to learn. and what resources will help them to do so. The second is processing, the activities that help students make a sense of what they learn. Third is the projects, a way for students to show what they know. And lastly, learning environment, giving the classroom a different type of feeling, a different type of, not just a feeling, but more of like a safe haven even, where the students can just be themselves, where they can learn the way that they feel comfortable, instead of just being forced a method and they're not getting the information. So any of us who has some kind of background with special education in general, when we think of differentiated instruction, we think of the response to intervention, which are used in schools. But the difference between this and RTI is that the goal of RTI is to spot learning problems early, to give struggling students extra support before they start falling behind their peers. But that's not what differential instruction is about. It's more based off of learning styles, not off of struggles. Which both are good because we want both approaches want the best for the student, want the student to learn a better way for them to grasp information. Here, we discuss about different ways that teachers can differentiate instruction, as we mentioned before, like content, the process, the product, etc., the learning environment, just different, more in-depth ways that teachers can use these to include in their instruction. The next slide, how do teachers prepare their students in their classroom for differentiated instruction? Basically, we are just learning more about the student themselves. Then we get into more of organizing them, rather they learn through content, through process, product, and then we understand their profile, their interests, their readiness, and through all these, we can get students ready, we can get materials, resources, lectures, everything ready for our students, because we know really what is going to engage them into the lesson. And this is why we are focusing more on students based off of their learning style. The next is, what does differentiated instruction look like in the classroom? Well, here are just several different types of examples, different types of, not like really examples, more like I would think more like stations, different approaches actually towards differential instruction, like adjusting questions. The teachers can figure out different questions that will get the student engaged answering. Tiered assignments, choosing activities, flexible grouping. If the students like to group work, it's best to fit them with other students that has the same interests, the same likes, almost like the same learning style even. Having learning centers where we provide them materials where they can do more hands-on and they can explore the different topics. And of course, there are some students that just prefer independent study where they just want to study alone. Now, in the next slide, these are just some common classroom practices that occurs in our everyday school setting. And we just want to explain why these examples are not differentiated practices and what we could do differently. The first one, delivering instruction primarily by lecturing, that is the more traditional approach towards teaching. And if we want to practice differentiation instruction, we need to quit having these traditional lectures, standing in front of the classroom, and finding other ways that we can lecture the students based off of learning style. And that's what we can, as all of us that we can do is just provide lessons that best fits our students' personalities. The next one is overgroup students at the beginning of the year based on previous year's achievement test scores. I don't like this one in general, even though it's good to know where the student is, what they know, how we can help them. But then again, when we are grouping students into categories that we think is a better fit for them, when really it's not, this isn't the same as differential instruction. And that is because we already have a set judgment. It's pretty much just a set judgment on the student, on what they're capable of and what they're not capable of. Through differential learning, we know that the students are capable of anything. We just need to figure out how and what we can encourage them. How we can encourage them to do better. How we can encourage them to learn the material and to raise their standards and to be like everyone else. But we're doing it based off of their style, based off of their learning. Not off of a test that is just a one fit for all. This is why it's not good to place students' achievement test as the same category as differentiation, because it's not the same. And then lastly, give points for classroom participation. When we are incorporating differential instruction, like I said over and over again, we're doing it, we are using learning styles and methods, ways that will help the students learn best, because that is how they learn best. This shouldn't be it's a bonus that they're learning something, that they're understanding the material, but they don't need bonus points for that. This isn't a classroom participation. This is them actually engaging and wanting to learn. And this is what we need. So that is it. Thank you for listening.